How about a trip down memory lane? Hold on 1 second. 1 second. When I was a kid growing up, yes, there was a time where I was a mere child. Growing up, the things that brought me joy. Mac and cheese out of a blue and yellow box. I take that back. It still makes me all kinds of happy to see somebody make that for me. Or mom preparing a pot roast to be ready for you when you came home on Friday after school. And that was the indication that mom wouldn't be home for the entire weekend because she was out working 3 jobs to put a roof over your head and to feed you, that she gladly reminded you every time she did it. And then on the rare, super rare occasion, maybe one Saturday out of the month where mom got a day off on a Saturday or even a Sunday, and if she felt like waking up that day and cooking for you, it wasn't going to be difficult. It was going to kind of be scrounging through the refrigerator, seeing if there was anything that she could literally put on one pan and call it dinner. And if we didn't have any food in the fridge, well, hopefully our neighbors would invite us over. With that being said, I'm at a point in my life where I can afford to put groceries in my fridge every day of the week. Do I have groceries in my fridge right now? No. Bad habits die hard. With that being said, I'm going to put some shoes on because I'm wearing house slippers because it's cold. Why I have a sweater on. We're going to go to the store. So I'm going to go put some shoes on. All right, so first and foremost, these meals, these one-pan dinners, are some of the first things I learned how to cook. They're quick, they're easy, and you really can't mess them up. My mom actually made this for me the very first time. It was just some other sort of chicken, a starch, and some veg in the oven, 425 degrees, 40-45 minutes. You'll see, they're super affordable as well. Guys, you really can't mess these up. If you're new to cooking, this is fantastic. If you're a veteran, these are just as fantastic. But let's get some shopping done. So parsley is optional, but it's fantastic just to kind of garnish the plate. Can never go wrong with a little squeeze of fresh lemon. Dijon mustard, olive oil, cracked pepper, kosher salt. Need a little bit of maple syrup for that glaze for that chicken. Okay, so the recipe calls for 4 chicken thighs, but we've got chicken quarters on sale for $5.72 and 2 more for $5.89. So we're gonna make some extra so we have some meal prep for the next week. Something else we used to do when I was a kid, my mom would get some bread from the bakery. We're gonna throw this into the oven the last 10-15 minutes of baking, and it'll come out nice and warm. I'm great, how are you?
One lady got mad about somebody talking in her compliment.
Thank you, Annalisa. You too. Okay. Today, we spent just under $48, $47.87. And considering I'll get probably 5-6 meals out of this, I think that's a pretty good deal. For those of you who maybe wanted to save a little extra money, you could have just gone with the 4 chicken thighs and saved yourself about $5-6. And of course, you could have just not gotten the sourdough, but why wouldn't you get the sourdough? All right. Oh, the grocery store. What a fun adventure. Okay, so you know how sometimes things just work out even though you never intended for them to go the direction that they went? That's something that literally just happened to me when I was at the grocery store. A couple of weeks ago, I wrote an article for today's sponsor, Cafe Casino, and that article was about how to host the holiday dinner parties without them feeling like the holidays. And to go back, and I'm standing there in the grocery store line, and this lady's like, I hate the holidays for this reason. I don't like hosting. It's always so stressful. There's all this anticipation and people are expecting so much of me. I literally stopped and was like, excuse me, I know this is going to sound really weird, but I just wrote an article about this very thing. I was like, my name's Eric. I'm a personal chef. I've been doing this a very long time. And Cafe Casino asked me to write an article about how to host the holiday dinner parties without them feeling like the holidays. Nonetheless, she said she's going to go home. She's going to subscribe, read the article. And I told her there's actually 4 recipes that I put for that video as well. The recipe to this one will be here too if you want to make your weeknights easier. So yeah, the link to the description to that article, as well as all of those recipes, will be there. And while you're there, make sure you check out all of the other incredible recipes are there. There's a big Little Debbie cake that one of the creators made that I have to make that. I'm gonna change into something not so warm, and then we're gonna get to making this one-pan dinner. We're gonna go ahead and get the oven on at 425 degrees. Get that started. I went on ahead and got everything rinsed off so that way we can just jump in to the peeling. I do recommend getting yourself a bowl like such, and then you can just peel into the bowl. All your peelings, now you can just throw them away. You're going to want to cut them evenly so that they roast evenly. Now a little red onion. Then into a bowl with the sweet potatoes. In regards to the carrots, you're going to want to cut them about the same size as the sweet potato. But of course, these are going to roast at different speeds. This will be overcooked while this will be cooked just fine. So cut this a little bit bigger. Now keep that in mind when you're cooking. Yes, you can't keep everything the exact same size to cook evenly all the time, but just get as close as you can. So that way you don't have something that's so overcooked and something that still has a raw crunch in the center. I mean, not horrible. So we've got all of our vegetables chopped up. So before we get our seasonings and herbs in there, we're gonna go ahead and get this coated with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of salt. I also wanna put a little bit of chili flakes in there, not in the recipe, but I like a little heat. Then we're gonna chop up some thyme, as well as some rosemary. Now, if you don't have that, of course, the dried stuff will work just fine. In with those fresh herbs. Give it a quick toss. Then get a baking pan, parchment paper, which will make your life easier later. The vegetables onto the pan, and you're gonna wanna lay those out as evenly as possible. Now we're just gonna set this to the side for a brief second and get started on the chicken. So for this chicken, I thought there were only 2 chicken quarters, but there are 3. So we're gonna get 6, maybe 7 meals out of this. Okay, so now in regards to the chicken, you're gonna wanna get all of this extra skin cut off. You can keep it on if you so choose, if you're really into the chicken skin, but we can get that all cut off, anything of excess. That you just keep the quarters all in one piece, but if you're like me and like to separate them, this little line right here, if you could see that, right there, you take the knife right there to that seam, right there, and you're gonna cut right through your chicken. Now you can just lay your chicken out, clean it up if that's what you like. Then you're left with a lovely, clean chicken thigh. Same with the leg, cut off any excess skin. And now those are some sexy legs. We clearly have more chicken than what the recipe calls for, but let's go ahead and just get it coated in some olive oil. Then we're gonna do a light coating of salt, a little bit of pepper, and now we're just gonna get our hands in there and mix it up. You can season this a little bit more if you so choose, but I really want that maple Dijon glaze to shine through. And you can always add just a little bit more salt and pepper at the end as well. Now we're going to bring back those veggies, and we made some little spots for just a few of the chicken, but we can kind of just get them in there and nestle them in nice and tight, like so. For the maple Dijon glaze, we are gonna do, it says 2 tablespoons, but because we've got so much more chicken, let's do 3 or 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Got this Dijon mustard here. We will put in 2.5 heaping tablespoons of Dijon. Then we'll put in 2 to 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. Then some garlic that we minced and chopped up. Then we're gonna do a little bit of dried thyme, and then a pinch of salt and pepper. Gonna give that a whisk. Of course, you're gonna wanna give that a little bit of a taste. See if you need it sweeter. That's actually a really good balance on that. Actually, I wouldn't mind a little bit more Dijon. Keep in mind, that's the whole thing about recipes, right? Tweak and adjust, making it the way you want it. And there you go. You've got your maple Dijon glaze. And that's gonna go great on that chicken. Now let's get this glaze on the chicken and spoon it on or brush it on. I believe we're gonna do a hybrid of both. A little bit of glaze there. You get some glaze, you get some glaze, everybody gets glaze. Okay, let's get a little carried away. Now, if all you have is a spoon, that's fine. You can take the back of the spoon and just coat the chicken like so. But if you have a brush, of course, you can just dab it like so and be so much more gracious. Now, do keep a little bit of this glaze because we are gonna go back towards the end and glaze the chicken one last time, about halfway through at 20 minutes. And there we go, this is what we have before we go in the oven. Now let's put it in, 425, 45 minutes. All right, so we are 20 minutes in, and what we're gonna do now is come in here first to just take a peek and marvel at the deliciousness, but we want to go ahead and rotate this around, give it another 20 minutes. All right, the last 20 minutes just went off. We're gonna go ahead and pull out this chicken and then give it one last coating on top. Some of these have a little bit darker finish than the others, but I still want to get a little bit more of this glaze on there and then back in the oven for like 5 minutes. And then while that's sitting in there, we're gonna go ahead and grab our sourdough bread in the meantime and go ahead and just get this, we'll get this here to the side. And then we're just gonna glaze this one last time all the way around. It smells so good. Now we'll get this back in the oven for about really just 5-10 minutes maybe. Keep in mind that that oven is off as well, so we're just working on residual heat from this point, just because I don't want to really char the tops of those anymore, but I want to get a nice glaze on the top of that chicken. You could probably stop there. Just check the temperature of your chicken. Make sure it's done. 165. All right, so a couple of things I really like about these one pan dinners. Let's not forget our bread. One of the things I love about these is the fact that you can actually get one of those cake pan toppers, put a topper on this after it's cooled down, transport it to your friend's house or wherever you're going with this, put it in the oven, reheat it, 350 for 15, 20 minutes. Or you could do like me and plate it right now, because this is my dinner. And I'm very excited about this. Let's get it plated up. Now, because of the industry I'm in, I have a ton of these. This is actually a plastic catering dish that I picked up at a restaurant supply store. What we want to do is get some washed parsley, and then you can just kind of scatter it on the corners. Just 2 of the corners is fine if that's all you want to do. And then we're going to take our bread for right now and put it over here. And then while we get our vegetables over, we can just transport our chicken to another pan. We'll set that to the side for the time being. And now we're going to get our veggies onto a platter. And now our chicken, let's turn this around, onto the other side of our platter. Make sure to get that nice charred finish up on top. And then you saw that we bought a lemon a little earlier at the grocery store, so we'll get that sliced. And I'd like to get a little bit of fresh lemon juice just to brighten everything up. Let's take our lemon so people can squeeze it. Additional, if they so choose. There you go. Maple Dijon glazed chicken with roasted root vegetables and sweet potatoes instead of roasted potatoes. There you go. And you can just tear some bread and put it all across the platter as well. All of this sauce. Yeah, that's gonna do it. So good. So good. This is like a little bit of home, honestly. It's literally what it looked like when my mom made this for me when I was a kid. I mean, does it get any better than that? So delicious. My word. Seriously, let me grab a piece of bread. Come with me. Right here, just in that juice, sopped up. I'm not gonna lie, this is delicious, and I really want you to try it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put a link down in the description that will take you to the article that I wrote for Cafe Casino. You'll have 4 holiday side dishes that you can make, like mac and cheese, green bean casserole, just kind of like next level up. There'll be the recipe to this one pan dinner, which I will be doing more. And if you want to see more, give me a nice big fat thumbs up. Please consider subscribing as we do all kinds of cooking like this. We also go out to restaurants. I'm a personal chef and I bring you along in a day of my life. If that's something that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and subscribe. Just a little beep, just tap it. It's one time and then you're subscribed. You're then part of the cooking crew. You're an employee, but you don't get paid.